Hey there, Eric Francis checking back in with you from Kiev, Ukraine. Today is Thursday. I've just finished writing the Planet Waves lead about my visit here called Report from the Scene of the Crime, looking into all these Ukrainian questions that are in the news every day, and then taking my readers on a little tour of the city. I posted a video last night to my main Facebook page and also the Planet Waves corporate page, which looked at the square of Pluto and Eris, which we are now experiencing. These are two slow-moving outer planets that are in this square configuration. We've been talking about this coming up for a couple of years, actually, and now it's happening. What I didn't cover last night was a configuration that's much more quick-moving, involving Neptune and the inner planets Venus and Mars and the Moon, all kind of queuing up in an alignment. And this is going to be exact on. Okay, that's pretty bright. Let's see here. I always ad-lib the lighting. That pattern is exact on January 28, 2020. It looks like 4:33 and 40 seconds a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's, say, New York time, 4:30 in the morning on January 28th. January 28th is a Tuesday. So, from when I'm speaking, next Tuesday. So now, I'm going to cover this in tomorrow's Planet Waves FM. By the way, I'm running Planet Waves FM a little bit early because I'm going to be traveling on Saturday, so I need to finish it up on Friday. We're way ahead of New York, so it'll go up fairly early on Friday. And I'm going to cover this aspect pattern, but I thought I would just get the conversation started now, just so you have getting the concept in mind. Anything involving Neptune, it is good to think it over 5 ways from Saturday, and to keep thinking it through till you figure out what in your life is about the thing that's in the sky. In other words, there's a game you play of matching it up and to know what you're talking about, because the astrology is not theoretical. The astrology is actually happening. It matters. There are events associated with the aspects. I don't know how it works. I've just watched it work for a long time. I think it's really interesting, and I like it, but can't tell you how it works. Can't prove to you that it works. All I can say is this is astrology that is that says be mindful and take nothing for granted. The pattern involves Neptune. Neptune is the slippery planet that is about everything from delusion, denial, drink, drugs, dreaming, deception, and then hopefully with that mixed in, you get a little bit of inspiration and illumination and a kind of a subtle light, a subtle experience of existence. The problem is that it can be really, really slippery. This is Russian mineral water. It is so terrible. It's from Georgia. It's really good for your health. Like, you live to 115 if you drink a lot of that. Okay, so this is brewing now. The planets don't line up exactly, for a couple of days. Have an influence as they build, and that's the time to be paying attention to them, is as they are developing, as they're building. So here's the pattern. It involves Mars making a square to Neptune. Mars is in Sagittarius. Neptune is in Pisces. Mars has a fairly slow orbit of 2 years, so this aspect does not happen very often. Mars makes a 90-degree type aspect to Neptune on average every 6 months. Okay, so that's happening. And that is a beware of self-destruction type of aspect. It's possible under this influence to do things that are not good for you and to make choices that you might later regret. And the problem with Neptune is that you don't know you're necessarily doing something like that. And the problem with Mars is you want to do that thing. And so it's one of these setups that's saying be cautious about the choices that you make and be cautious about what you want. Okay, second thing is that Venus is making a conjunction to Neptune in Pisces, and so Venus conjunct Neptune, might be nice. It might be a lot of fun. You might write a beautiful song or have wonderful fantasies, make a painting. You might have. It is sexual and erotic, and yet when Neptune's in the picture, that's more given to fantasy than to reality. Okay, but when we add Venus, Neptune, and Mars, that combination is just completely unpredictable, except to say that you need to be very cautious about situations requiring honesty. Make sure that you're not lying to yourself, and be cautious about the possibility that others are deceiving you, and the deception is likely to happen on an emotional level. It's also more likely to enter the situation where there are romantic, erotic, or sexual vibes going on. So I don't mean to be too cautionary here or to dissuade anyone from having any fun, except to say, it's not generally my style, except to say that this astrology is saying, pay attention, try to figure out who you're with before you make any commitments to them. This is absolutely crazy astrology to have with the impeachment going on, because there's just so much blatant lying going on with this impeachment. And by the way, as far as I can tell, the Democrats are not lying about anything. I'm fact checking this as I go. I'm not especially partisan to the Democratic Party. I'm certainly not partisan to the Republican Party. But I think, in my observation and those of other observant people around me, there's a hell of a lot of gas bagging going on with these insane, ridiculous Republican arguments that are just intended to confuse and obfuscate and to mix people up and to play to the emotions. And speaking of the emotions, I didn't mention that on the 28th, the moon passes through this whole thing and kind of drags us all in and drags the public in and makes it difficult to know whether what we're feeling is accurate and appropriate to the situation. Now, before the moon gets there, the moon is currently in, sorry, that light is my astrology chart coming on and off. The moon, as I record right now, is in Capricorn, about to form a conjunction, it looks like, to Pluto and to Saturn. I'm having a little trouble setting the time zone of my chart casting program, but as of this recording on Thursday morning, New York time, late afternoon, Ukraine time, European time, we're about to get the peak of this moon through Capricorn, conjunct all those planets. Perfect astrology to be having an impeachment trial under. Absolutely impeccable timing and planning. I was not involved. They didn't ask me, but they, like a lot of people, got it right. It's a perfectly good train wreck. And then is the new moon, as mentioned in the previous video. That is on Friday. Events, moon conjunct sun. All right, so midday on Friday is the 24th, is the Aquarius new moon, and then the moon proceeds through Aquarius, and then it enters Pisces and makes this really unusual pattern, this conjunction, first to Nessus, and then to Venus, and then to Neptune square Mars. It's quite exciting and quite interesting, and I wouldn't feel right had I not explained it to you and said what was going on. All right, so it's becoming nighttime here in Kiev, and I'm going to venture out into the city by myself for the first time and see what happens. Should be pretty good. All right, thanks you out there, all who are publishing Planet Waves tonight. The issue will come out on schedule. And like I said, Planet Waves FM running a little bit early. And bye for now.